Good morning and welcome to your Friday edition of Good Morning Fort Sill. So Michael, it's been getting kind of hot this week again, but I've honestly enjoyed some of the cooler mornings. The weather was absolutely beautiful yesterday for Fort Sill's 9/11 ceremony and run. How's this morning's PT forecast looking?
Well, it's looking pretty nice out there. Currently, it is 63 degrees at Fort Sill, and it's calm. The winds were breezy yesterday, but right now, as you look at your PT forecast for this morning, temperatures would be generally in the lower to mid 60s across the area. And then as we get to around 9 a.m., we will start getting up into the lower to mid 70s. Looking at satellite and radar, we can see not a cloud in the sky. Maybe our far northwestern county is getting some high clouds out there. Even if we zoom out across the area, we still kind of have high pressure in the mid-levels of the atmosphere dominating the region, which is why we're not seeing anywhere anything much like precipitation. You got to go all the way up towards the desert southwestern parts of the Rockies to see anything. Now, as we look at the Jackson County Memorial Hospital Tower, we can see mostly clear skies. And yesterday we had a high of 97 degrees, which is well above average for this time of year. Our normals are now in the upper 80s, and we're not hitting that record of 107. Elsewhere, we had a high of 95 in Wichita Falls, 99 in Frederick. It's certainly hot, especially in our western counties. 97 in Altus and in Childress, 94 in Elk City, 96 in Chickasha, and 95 in Duncan.
Well, the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis was put on lockdown yesterday after an altercation between a student and a military police officer. Units responded to reports that an active shooter dressed in a police uniform or as a police officer was on campus. Those were eventually found to be false. However, during a sweep of a building, a student in a dorm attacked an officer. That officer fired and hit the student in the shoulder. He was airlifted to a hospital in stable condition. The incident resulted in the academy going on lockdown. No further injuries were reported. Well, this week, communities across the nation held ceremonies and events to remember the 24th anniversary of the September 11th attacks. There were numerous events right here in Texoma. And here's 7 News reporter Skylar Teddington with a look at yesterday's Fort Sill 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony and Run.
2,996. That is the number of the lives lost 24 years ago during the World Trade Center attacks on 9/11, and 24 years later, people across the nation still remember and honor those we lost. Fort Sill held a remembrance run to ensure that no one ever forgets the tragedy that took place all of those years ago. Between 3,000 and 4,000 people came out early in the morning to run, ruck, or walk to honor the lives lost and the brave first responders who put their lives on the line to save others.
A big motivation, me being from New York, this means a lot to me, knowing what my family members experienced when they were in the city when that happened, and the sacrifice that the first responders made. I just really felt like I had to do this.
Some people remembered the day it happened.
I was driving back from PT at Fort Hood, Texas, a young lieutenant, listening to Fox radio, and the DJ broke in and said, "Oh my gosh, a plane hit one of the Trade Center buildings." And at first I thought it was like a Cessna.
For me, I also have a unique aspect as this September 11, 2001 is the day my son was born. So I was a lieutenant at Fort Hood, Texas when my son was born, as the second plane was hitting the tower.
While others were born post 9/11 or too young to remember it. Regardless, it brought together Americans of all ages, all walks of lives, and all backgrounds to show that the USA still stands strong in the face of tragedy.
We're telling the next generation why we do the things we do as soldiers, Marines, Airmen, Navy, Space Force, that we're here to protect the nation's interests, and we do it for our community.
Reporting for 7 News, I'm Skylar Teddington.
Skylar did a great job with that story. We were humbled to actually be out there covering such a meaningful event. This was actually the 3rd year that I have personally participated in that run. One thing to note on the significance of why it's 4 miles, instead of the standard 5K, which is 3.1 miles, each mile of the 4 miles represents one of the 4 planes that was used in the attack. We will never forget. Well, Fort Sill MWR is calling all anglers to join them this weekend at Lake Elmer Thomas Recreation Area for a bass fishing tournament. That event will be tomorrow morning at Lettra. Check-in starts at 6 o'clock. in the morning. Fishing gets underway at 7. Weigh-ins will be at 1 p.m. The tournament costs $25 to enter, and you must have your fishing license to participate. For more information, you can check out MWR's Facebook page. And VFW Post 1193 in Lawton is hosting their Feeding the Community event this weekend. The event is this Saturday, so tomorrow, from 12 until 2 in the afternoon. The menu includes smothered pork chops, mashed potatoes and gravy, green beans, a roll, dessert, and a drink. The meal is free. However, no to-go plates will be allowed until 2 p.m. Well, looking south of the Red River, airmen in training at Sheppard Air Force Base were able to put their skills and knowledge they learned into practice at a mission generation exercise. The exercise includes 2 competitions, the Aircraft Generation Competition and the Air-Minded Warrior Challenge. Both competitions focused on teamwork, communication, and watching training pay off in real time. While the training has its moments of fun, leaders say it's also about showing the seriousness of what they do.
One thing we try to explain to the airmen that whether you're a crew chief, whether you're FIELS, POL, everybody needs to be able to handle these tasks once you're deployed, because you're going to rely on anybody, your airmen to your left, airmen to your right, no matter what job they are. And so if we can count on them to do these tasks, we'll be ready for it. The world's ever changing, depending on our adversary, depending on what might be going on in the world. This kind of gives the world, America, a view of what we deal with on a daily basis, and it gives the airmen an opportunity to showcase what they've been doing every day, nonstop.
Well, Sheppard Air Force Base First Sergeants are hosting a skeet shooting tournament this weekend. The event will take place on tomorrow morning from 8 until noon at the Sheppard Skeet Range. Shooters ages 18 and up are invited to attend. Entry is $30 and includes weapon rental, ammo, and clay targets. There will also be door prizes and plenty more. For information, you can check out Sheppard Air Force Base's Outdoor Recreation Facebook page. Well, the Army has announced new exemptions for body fat standards and fitness standards. We'll break down the latest announcements coming up from the Army next on Good Morning Fort Sill.
Don't wait to see the news that affects you. Know first with 7 News at 4 p.m.
This just in, the town of Velma is being evacuated.
Stay connected to the team you trust your way. Get breaking news and investigations here on the 7 News app.
Mark, what are you seeing?
Right now I'm here at 2nd and F.
Instant forecast with real-time alerts here on the First Alert 7 weather app. And stream live on your TV here or watch anytime on your schedule. Download all 3 for free. Stay connected to 7 News wherever you are. Here's your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Michael Amanqua.
And taking a look at our current temperatures right now, we're sitting anywhere from the lower to mid 60s, like in Lawton, 63, you're a cool spot here. And then we're seeing some upper 60s and lower 70s, 68 in Duncan, 69 in Waurika, 66 in Chickasha, 73 degrees in Anadarko and Hobart, 70 in Elk City. And as we look at our current relative humidity values, I should say, we're getting up into the 80s. As we go into our far eastern counties, even a few 90s, the area is a little bit drier as we're seeing dew points in the 50s and 60s out there. Looking at our wind speeds are pretty calm right now, anywhere out of the south and southeast between around 5 to 10 miles per hour. They were howling yesterday, pretty much out of the south and southeast between 5 and 15 with higher gusts as high as 20. Now, the way things are set up right now in the upper levels of the atmosphere, we're going to continue to have more of an influence from this high pressure dome, especially in the mid levels of the atmosphere, even though we're not showing that right now. And with this trough, it's going to continue to push off towards the east, and then models take it up towards the north. And with that eastward push and with this specific trough, it's going to give us maybe an isolated chance of a shower or storm starting early next week from Sunday mainly, and then going to at least the middle of next week. We're going to continue to monitor how close it gets and see if we can get any moisture out of this. But currently, we're still seeing a lot more mild conditions as we look at our current conditions across the area. Some precipitation to our west and a little bit of Gulf precipitation to our east.
Well, the Army has published a new directive that exempts soldiers who score over a 465 points in the Army fitness test from body fat standards. Soldiers must score 80 points or more in each event, and no alternative events are permitted. Army leaders say the new exemption rewards soldiers who demonstrate high levels of fitness, which supports readiness, health, and creates a culture that values performance. All soldiers must still conduct a height and weight screening, and their data must be recorded on a Department of the Army Form 5500 or DA Form 5501. However, soldiers who do not meet the height and weight standards but qualify for the exemptions will not be required to conduct a tape test. The new directive is effective immediately, and exemptions are valid until the next record test. Well, the Army recently conducted their largest unmanned aerial system flight demonstration for more than 400 stakeholders during the annual UAS and Launched Efforts Summit at Fort Rucker, Launched Effects Summit at Fort Rucker. Senior leaders, soldiers, and industry representatives discussed the future of UAS, policy changes, the deployment of drones, emerging capabilities, and the challenges posed by adversaries who are developing and advancing their own unmanned systems. Fort Rucker leadership says that new technology will help enhance readiness and lethality in future conflicts. Well, the Washington National Guard's 81st Stryker Brigade combat team will be trading in their Strykers and converting into smaller infantry squad vehicles as part of their transition to becoming the 81st Mobile Brigade. This is the second time that the 81st has traded out vehicles. Previously operated M1A1 Abrams tanks and Bradley fighting vehicles before transitioning to Strykers in 2015. As part of the transition at the 81st Mobile Brigade, an infantry battalion from the Utah National Guard will be added to the unit. Well, members of the Lakota Sioux gathered in Nebraska this week to remember the 170th anniversary of the Battle of Blue Water Creek during the First Sioux War. 600 U.S. Army troops under the command of Brigadier General William S. Harney attacked a force of 250 Sioux. 86 natives and 27 U.S. soldiers were killed in the battle. Over 70 people were captured, and the Army took several Lakota artifacts that were later displayed at museums across the country. Karen Little Thunder, a descendant of the chief who fought at Blue Water, made it her mission to see her tribe's belongings returned to them. She was able to meet with the descendant of General Harney, and together they've made it their mission to heal old wounds and give the Lakota part of their history back.
I do not call them artifacts. I call them relatives. I call them belongings.
My ancestor was General Harney, and we've been working for many, many years to turn poison into medicine, I would say.
The tribe was able to recover nearly 70 items from the Smithsonian Museum. They are currently being preserved at their healing circle until tribal leaders can work out a long-term deal. A former dean at Camden Military Academy has been denied bond when charges with sex crimes. Will have the top national military headlines when Good Morning Fort Sill returns.
Don't wait to see the news that affects you. Know first with 7 News at 4 p.m.
This just in, the town of Velma is being evacuated.
Stay connected to the team you trust your way. Get breaking news and investigations here on the 7 News app.
Mark, what are you seeing?
Right now I'm here at 2nd and F.
Instant forecast with real-time alerts here on the First Alert 7 weather app. And stream live on your TV here or watch anytime on your schedule. Download all 3 for free. Stay connected to 7 News wherever you are.
Well, Rangers lead the way, and at Camp Merrill, Georgia, soldiers learned what it takes to become some of the future leaders of the U.S. military. Blair Miller has a closer look at the mountain phase of Ranger School.
It's here, 76 miles north of Atlanta, where the serenity of the summer intersects with the beauty of the North Georgia mountains. It's also where you find the colors of a nation and soldiers preparing for war.
Let go.
Welcome to Camp Merrill in Dahlonega, nestled in the woods and a major training ground for the U.S. Army.
Hands up. Check, check, check. All right, go. I'm a sergeant first class.
Michael Whalen runs the training, putting these soldiers through high-intensity exercises, climbing with their weapons, and rappelling down the side of this tower. They're training to be Army Rangers and handle the unknowns of the mountains.
Rangers in particular are expected to be able to traverse and fight in any kind of terrain across the world.
How does what these guys are doing right now apply to what's happening in other parts of the world?
We're not sure where the next conflict is going to happen, but the odds are that wherever the next military conflict happens is that there will be mountainous terrain there.
It's not just using ropes to get from one spot to the next.
Slide it down.
It can often look and feel very real here.
Left side, left side.
Blade Sill, repel.
Part of what's happening out here, yes, is training, but another big part is how what's happening out here impacts the real world. You know, it may not be in Georgia, but another part of the world.
So depending on the part of the world that you go to, no matter where it is, you're going to run into any kind of obstacles.
Obstacles that can come with real-life consequences. The most recent data from the Department of Defense shows 844 active duty deaths in 2022. The training here is designed to lower those numbers.
Go. Ready to start.
But also give these troops the strength to be ready for the real thing when everything's on the line.
They're here to learn their leadership styles and how to operate with each other.
Get my lane on rappel.
And to become the future leaders of America's Army.
Next, go.
Well, McNeese State University in Louisiana became part of history after becoming just the second Purple Heart University in the state. The designation is a formal acknowledgement of the institution's commitment to the veteran community. For vets who attended MSU, the designation means more. Well, the school's president says that they are dedicated to making sure all veterans and military personnel are appreciated for their sacrifices. And we had a little bit of issues there with that story. Well, the dean of Camden Military Academy has been denied bail in his sex crimes case. John Anthony Heflin has been accused of soliciting a minor for explicit photos via social media and engaging in sexually explicit conversations as early as 2022. Heflin appeared in court for a bail hearing where several character witnesses testified on his behalf. They say he was a well-known member of the community, and attorneys argued he was granted bond on other charges last year.
What I would like to do, I'd like for John to get the opportunity to get out and help me determine what the truth of these allegations are.
It is not a child's wish to go to the beach to be raped, Your Honor. And that was what was happening with Mr. Heflin. He was grooming these children, and as they were called in the Camden Military Academy, I wasn't going to go into law facts, but they were called Hef's boys.
The judge ultimately denied bond, saying that in most cases, people with similar charges who are found guilty live by themselves, are well acquainted with their victims, and even involved in the community. Well, taking a look at your good news, U.S. Kennels is lending a helping paw to veterans and first responders. The Veterans Organization gives them a new purpose as handlers for service dogs. This organization takes in about 10 to 15 veterans a year, and training takes about 2 years to complete. Vets say it gives them a new purpose.
I spent 21 years in the Army, so since I've gotten out, it's been great for me to just have a partner, a friend to be there when it's different, getting out into the community where you haven't been for the most of your career and most of your life.
Actually train them both together. So I think this is very therapeutic for the veterans because once again, it gives them purpose in life. It gives them something to do. It gives them responsibility. Plus, a lot of these veterans, they isolate.
The organization is always looking for donations. You can find out more on their website at uskennelsinc.org. Well, an Oklahoma first grader got the surprise of a lifetime after her dad came back home after serving nearly a year overseas. The heartwarming reunion was orchestrated with the help from her school.
That's something first grader Eva Bonstetter hasn't been able to do in 10 months.
3. Salute. Awesome. Good job.
Her dad, Austin, was deployed in the Middle East as a mechanic for the U.S. Army.
It was amazing. It's all thanks to this one right here and this wonderful school for letting me.
It was very exciting. Welcome
I was super pumped immediately just hearing like how exciting that would be for their family.
Principal Taylor Harper tells me she organized the surprise last minute with Ava's mom, Martina. They decided to keep it a surprise for all of the students.
We told them that a local celebrity was coming, so they've just been super excited all day long, like the anticipation of figuring out who the local celebrity was going to be.
And the Bonstetters say it was all worth it.
Thinking about, when's the next time you're going to come home and see your family, and just every day's a blessing.
Here's your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Michael Amanqua.
A last look at your PT forecast. Currently 63 degrees at Fort Sill with clear skies, and temperatures will be in the lower to mid 60s pretty much throughout all the way to around 7 to 8 a.m. and then getting up into the lower 70s as you get to 9 to 10 a.m. And as you go throughout most of your day, we should be mostly clear. Maybe a few clouds are possible in the northern counties. As we go into your Saturday morning, clouds will continue to increase from the west, and then we'll have partly cloudy skies throughout the day. Can't rule out a spotty shower or two, but only about 10%. Going into Sunday, we'll keep about a 10% chance of an isolated shower or storm, and that's where that trough will get a little bit closer to the area. Continue to have partly cloudy skies going into Tuesday and even your Wednesday before we can still pretty much the weather is going to be the same as you go throughout maybe your Thursday. It will be hot today with a high of 95 degrees. Winds out of the south and southwest between 5 and 15 miles per hour. Going into tonight, 69 for a low, mostly clear with southwest winds switching to the south at 5 to 10. Going into tomorrow, a high of 93 degrees, but it will be partly cloudy and winds will be out of the south at 5 to 15 miles per hour. And taking a look at your 7-day forecast, you continue to have lower 90s as you go throughout the day. Pretty much throughout your weekend, I should say. And then lows will be in the upper 60s and lower 70s. And going into next week, we will keep the small rain chances in the forecast.
Well, thanks for watching Good Morning Fort Sill. You can check the 7 News app today for the latest updates and breaking news.